Are you an African-American woman?
I identify as black.
When did it start?
I would say about 5 years old.
You began identifying yourself as African-American?
I was drawing self-portraits with the brown crayon instead of the peach crayon, and the black, black curly hair, and yeah, that was how I was portraying myself.
When did you start deceiving people?
Well, I do take exception to that because it's a little more complex than me identifying as black or answering a question of are you black or white.
That was this morning. Rachel Dolezal breaking her silence for the first time since being accused of lying about her race for years while working as NAACP Spokane chapter president. She resigned from that leadership position yesterday, but she continues to defend her actions, refusing to say that she lied about her race. Her parents, Larry and Ruth Ann Dolezal, join me now. Good morning to you both. I know it's been a very busy, crazy week for you both, no doubt. And Ruth Ann, I want to start with you. When you watch that and you listen to what she said just there, is that true? Did she identify as black since the age of 5?
No, that is a fabrication. That's false. That did not happen. She has never done that, anything like that as a child, although she was always attracted to the black people. We had friends from Nigeria and different places, and African American friends that we had in our circle, and she was used to relating to people of diversity, but she did not ever portray herself.
She didn't draw herself with brown crayons and curly hair when she was 5?
No, she did not.
Okay, Larry, so, when you watch this, I guess my biggest question to you both as a parent, Larry, let me ask you this, is, I haven't really gotten from you both what you think happened here. I mean, why? Why do you think she is doing this?
We don't know for sure. We're baffled and puzzled.
But what's your theory? You must have some theory about why she suddenly decided in 2004 that she was going to call herself black.
She's assimilated into the black culture and the African American community now for 20 years. And all we can surmise is that somehow that identity has transferred from being part of a multi-ethnic family to our adopted children to then somehow thinking she's herself multi-ethnic.
Right. Let me play another.
I mean, how would, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
How would you respond if I said, well, we adopted these 4 African American children, so we're going to change our ethnicity. I am now African American, I'm black. Yeah. How would you respond to that? I
guess I would say that you're confused about your identity, and I can only imagine what it's like for you as parents, and I would imagine that go ahead.
I was just going to say, we were very open with our 4 little adopted children. We adopted them as babies. And we didn't tell them that we were black or we identified as black with them. We were just upfront with them.
Yeah.
And they didn't grow up confused.
No, I saw your son earlier.
Because we were white parents and they were black
and he
children.
did not appear confused about it. Well, Ruth Ann, let me ask you about this, because that raises an interesting point here, because she says that she adopted your son Isaiah, who you adopted first. She says she now has full custody of him, and he was on the program in the audience there this morning with her. Why did she adopt the boy that you adopted?
She did not adopt Isaiah. She does not have full custody of Isaiah. Isaiah moved to live with her in his last high school years at his request and her request, but he is not adopted and she does not have full custody of him.
Essentially, the correct term is guardianship. Mm-hmm. She was awarded, and we cooperated with that transfer of guardianship, but technically we're still his adoptive parents, and that's the correct status. So basically, she, as his older sister, was awarded guardianship of her younger brother.
Because she was watching over him in his last years of high school. I get it.
Yeah, from the age of 16. Mm-hmm.
Ruth Ann, let me play this for you both, because I would imagine this one is particularly sensitive for the two of you. Let's play this.
We connected on, a very intimate level as family. And
But why point out an African American man and say that is my father when you
That's my
know that
dad.
your father is a Caucasian man?
Albert Wilkerson is my dad. And any man can be a father, not every man can be a dad.
She says Mr. Wilkinson is her father, Larry.
Oh, that hurts deeply because for over 20 years, Rachel fondly referred to me as Papa.
This is an issue not just of identity, but also of integrity. And so, as much as we are hurt as parents, we are also very alarmed at the level of dishonesty that Rachel is exhibiting.
So I guess, why have you reached out to her? I mean, so all this is playing out on national television, on the Today Show, and here and elsewhere. I mean, I would imagine, just as a family, and, you've put together this family. You have 2 biological children, and you have these 4 adopted children. Larry, how do you feel about how this is all playing out?
She's clearly communicated to us multiple times, don't call me, I'll call you. So we have her phone number, we've provided it to some of the news media, but we do not call her in honor of her requests. And so we haven't spoken with Rachel for over 2 years.
Ruth Ann, one of the things I thought was interesting that she said this morning was that a newspaper, when she sued Howard University because she said they discriminated against her because she was white and pregnant. So she identified when she was a little kid as black, she says, but then in Howard, she sued the university as a white person who was discriminated. And then she says in some of the later newspaper reports with another dispute that was going on, they referred to her as transracial. And then the next newspaper, she said, called me black, and then I just kind of went with it. Odd, no?
Yes, in fact, well, go ahead, you first.
Rachel portrayed herself as black and made that very distinct impression, but she has also said that she is African American.
Okay.
And reported that recorded that on an application for a police commission. So all of those things become progressively more serious.
I don't know how much time we have, but let me just quickly review this detail with you. So Rachel went to school, Belhaven College in Jackson, Mississippi. She was immersed in the African American culture there in racial reconciliation work for 4 years. She applied to Howard University. When she went to Belhaven, her art shifted almost entirely to African American portraiture. So when she sent her portfolio and her application to Howard, there was no request to identify ethnicity. They call her, she's in Jackson, Mississippi. She's been there for 4 years, immersed in this culture and community. When you talk to someone on the phone, they sound Southern, because she's been there for 4 years. So they give her a full ride scholarship. They see her art portfolio is all African American. And then she shows up 2 weeks before, and the way I recall this being reported back to us at that time was when she walked in to finalize her registration a week or 2 before classes started, eyes were popping, jaws were dropping, because they couldn't believe that they'd awarded a full ride scholarship to a white woman.
That's quite a story. Ruth Ann, last question for you. In terms of, she said, I identify as black, and we're all watching all these different stories, and Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn Jenner, who said, look, I identified as a woman. And she's saying she wants basically that same kind of treatment, because she says, since I was a little girl, I identify black and basically want to be understood as black. She says it's complicated, and that's her story. She's asking you to accept that, all of us to accept that, Ruth Ann.
Yes, she's asking us to accept that. In the meantime, Rachel is rejecting her biological family, and she's also rejecting reality.
Thank you very much, Ruth Ann and Larry. You've been through a lot, as I said at the start of this week, and we thank you very much for being with us. It's an interesting story on many levels, but I know for you, it's a very personal story about your family. So we wish you well. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. We'd like the same social justice within our family as she is seeking for the African American community.
It starts at home. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Gotta hurt.